I just wanted to see if anybody wants to express their opinions and any messages they might have for Senator Lindsey Graham passing away. I do want to mention to you guys that what I've over the past couple of hours, the Iranian people are devastated. Everywhere on social media, the Iranian people are sending me their messages of sadness and their feeling of loss. Senator Graham was a true friend of the Iranian people. So I just want Americans to know that this is not just America's loss. This is the Iranian people's loss. This is the Israelis people's loss. And this is a loss for the whole world: Ukrainian people, Israeli people, Iranian people, and everywhere else. And we Iranian people, honestly, is I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that we didn't have any better friend in the US government than Lindsey Graham. That is not an exaggeration. He loved the Iranian people so much. He was from among all American politicians, he was the closest to Prince Reza Pahlavi. And I don't know how we could recover from losing such a friend and an ally in the US. This is a huge loss for us. And we already miss him. And I be is it's a shock to us. And just two memories of him that I wanted to share. First, the one thing that you constantly see the Iranian people posting right now is the day that he was in Munich among 250,000 Iranians who came out for Prince Reza Pahlavi. He showed up there, and as soon as he came on stage, the Iranian people started chanting USA, 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 and they were celebrating him being there. But when he picked up the lion and sun flag in front of that crowd, then the crowd went wild, and that picture of him raising the lion and sun flag and waving it is the number one image and video right now that is being shared by Iranian everywhere, right? And when I was doing my Persian show today, which is mostly to my Iranian audience, 80% of the people who watch me on the Persian channel are from Iran. The chat was like, even though we started with that topic, but even though we were going to other topics, the chat was just constantly just talking about Lindsey Graham and their message of sadness and appreciation for when he was alive and all that he did for us. So that's one memory. I mean, there's a lot that is being shared by about Senator Lindsey Graham, but the other thing that was being shared was that short video of him mentioning that apparently in Iran people call me Amu Lindsey, which means Uncle Lindsey, and he was celebrating that. That video of him is also constantly is being shared. And yeah, so just wanted to let you guys know that this is a big moment for the Iranian people. And I could maybe read some of the messages of Iranian people. But other than that, other than that, it's not just Iranians communicating how big of a loss this is. There are many Iranians who also want the Americans know that this is a big loss for them. You know, so I see some messages right now on X by Iranians saying like we'll make Iran great again, and we will make a street after Lindsay, and name a street after Amu Lindsay, Uncle Lindsay. Some one person here is saying you're the only foreigner that will always be in my heart. Somebody saying farewell, you great man, we will never forget you. These are all in Persian. I'm translating them. Another person is saying مردی که برای آزادی جنگید و همواره در کنار آزادی خواهان ایستاد, saying a man that fought for liberty and was always on the side of other people who were fighting for liberty. یاد تا ابد در قلب ماست Uncle Lindsay. Your memory will forever be in our hearts, Uncle Lindsay. There, another person, فکر نمی‌کردم اما نوزی کجایی که شریفتر از تو توی سیاست و مملکت. Somebody saying where are you Uncle Lindsay, there's no one more honorable than you in the politics in the US government. So many comments by Iranians. Here's another one. Somebody's saying, oh, this is from somebody within a Princess of Pahlavi's team, posted this saying on February 14th, 250,000 Iranians marched for freedom in Munich. A surprise guest took the stage, Lindsey Graham. The crowd erupted in chants of USA, USA, USA. The senator was visibly moved. He grabbed the lion and sun flag and waved it proudly. Iranians will never forget. So, yeah, just wanted to share some of that with you guys and see if you guys have anything to say as well.
All right. First to respond to this is Samantha with a written message. I do appreciate Lindsey Graham always standing up for Israel and Iran. I'm sorry Americans and Israelis and Iranians are grieving. Thank you, Samantha. Next to respond on this is Sophie. Go ahead, Sophie.
Thank you.
And by this, my family knew him personally, so I'm really upset about this whole thing. Sorry. They sent me family photos with him. This morning, I'm getting a bunch of photos. He was in the upstate, so we have recent photos with him. Sorry, I didn't mean to get choked up again. It kind of just when I first found out about it, and actually a member of this community let Dejal and me know, like in the middle of the night, like that the news was coming out. I wasn't following the news on my phone, and I appreciate that. And it just didn't seem real. It really seemed shocking. I deeply appreciate some of the things that people have said, major leaders, but also Prime Minister Netanyahu on video specifically talking about it. But I wanted to mention that we're having our we'll be having the replacement, like the election stuff is August 11th, and then there can be a runoff on 29th, and I'm here if you guys want to understand that, like, constitution, it's like the 17th amendment, it's a may and can, it's not a requirement. With Governor McMaster, he's term limited, he's has deep roots with South Carolina, he would be doing an appointment with this very temporary period, but because of winning the primary and this timing, it's in the South Carolina state law how this works. So there will be the new decision primary for who would be the Republican representative. Is a deeply red state, so that will mean the person will win our general, very likely. But that will happen August 11th, and that's part of our state laws. And again, we have a lot of can and may, and legally those mean it's like not a shall do or required. It's the way that it works. So if anybody has any questions about that, and other people that are possibilities, and what's being discussed in the state. Sorry to be a little feisty, but like somebody who told us in the middle of the night, like, no, I appreciate that President Trump can make a call, but like, no, we in the state of South Carolina do not have other people outside the state, including the US president, just select for the state of South Carolina. That's not how South Carolina rolls. It's a very states' rights and there's strong roots. Lindsey Graham we've known him for decades. Was a congressman and then our senator. And a lot of people may not realize with his service, he was first in his family to go to college. His parents, Jose, you'll relate to this, both of his parents died within just over a year in college. He helped raise his sister, served for many, many years in the Air Force, but paid for, got through, University of South Carolina and then law school and just, I don't know, Clemson fan, our Tigers there. So any questions legally, yeah, just feel free. I'm just kind of still shaken up by it because I'm getting a lot of photos that are with family with him. Sorry, guys.
Thank you very much for your words on this and for making your knowledge available on this. Next to respond, we have Jeffrey. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Going to be kind of hard to follow up Sophie there. I didn't have such a deep personal connection, although we definitely ran in similar circles. I can just share with you. I'll share with you my personal the observations I had of the man Senator Graham was. I mean, Senator Graham, throughout his entire time in public life, was very much a staunch patriot, a warrior for freedom, and a tireless defender of American leadership and strength, particularly valuable in the great contests of our time. He very much understood that peace is preserved through strength and fought for our defense industrial base, missile defense, nuclear modernization, including nuclear power, shipbuilding, and weapons and munitions tragically required to defend America and our allies. He also recognized that economic security is in its own way national security. He was one of the main people that sounded the alarm bell regarding the Chinese Communist Party's predatory trade practices, intellectual property theft, cybercrime, and technological aggression, while supporting protections for American innovation in emerging technologies like artificial intelligence. That was the depth of operational knowledge that he possessed, that Senator Graham possessed. Beyond that, though, on top and in some ways more important than Senator Graham's deep understanding of the technological elements that defines public policy was his moral clarity. Senator Graham stood firmly with those resisting tyranny around this world, whether it was our Israeli allies, Ukrainian defense forces, and yes, Iranian people resistance against the Mullah regime occupiers of Iran and their clerical regime's repression. I'll just say this in closing. Senator Graham, the example of your voice, resolve, and fighting spirit serves as guiding lights in these dark times. The legislation you helped craft, the alliances you defended, and the causes you carry inform our efforts. Godspeed, Senator Graham. While your sword will be missed, you will be remembered. We'll take the fight from here.
Appreciate that, Jeffrey. Thank you for your thoughts and your clarity in these times. I know it's going to be hard for a lot of people to speak on this personally. Some of them had that connection to a lot of us. Like for me, especially, this highlights his latest cause was the political cause, the cause of Iran, the cause of Ukraine. He was just over at Ukraine, so he was someone who was always fighting autocratic dictatorships, and I appreciate that greatly. And my heart goes out to his family. I just want to put that out there on my part. I feel kind of cold just passing between people and not speaking a little bit about this myself. Like, with everything in mourning, there's a time for everything. Right now, there's a little bit of a period of mourning. So my heart goes out to family and coworkers. Like coworkers have a special bond, just like, brothers in arms have a bond that comes from working together. So I'm sure that his coworkers and his family are feeling the loss, and my heart goes out to them. With that, I'm going to pass on to our next speaker, Kathy. Go ahead, Kathy.
I just wanted to say that we deeply love and will miss Lindsey, and my words and thoughts are with his family and everyone who really cared about him.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Next to speak on this is Texas Troop. Go ahead, Texas.
Hi, what I really wanted to share was that a lot of people on social media right now are sharing personal stories about Senator Graham and interactions they had with him in a very positive way, but most importantly about his commitment that he had to liberty, the cause of liberty in our country, in our government, and how he was determined that all Americans, or as many Americans as possible, should have the representation that they wanted, even when it was his opponent. So there's one that I wanted to read in particular, and Sophie, you may recognize this person. I'm not going to name them, but you may recognize them. I had relentlessly criticized Lindsey Graham for years when I was removed from the ballot in 2022. At the time, the most recent polling had me soundly winning the race for Congress. Lindsey Graham got my phone number and called me wanting to contribute money to my lawsuit to get back on the ballot, despite my criticism, and said it was un-American that people wouldn't get the chance to vote for me. I'm sure he would have voted for someone else if he lived in the district, but still, he wanted people to get to vote for who they wanted to vote for, and ultimately for people to decide the election instead of a dozen people in a back room. Ultimately, the lawsuit didn't restore my name on the ballot. The back room won. But I was always perplexed and moved by him doing that because he knew what I had publicly said about him, and he knew I was more right-wing than him. Still, he wanted to help fix it. He even offered to call SEC members who had voted to remove my name from the ballot. For all my foreign policy criticism of Lindsey, this was a total, genuine, non-cynical offer. I told him I wouldn't stop criticizing his foreign policy, and he laughed, saying he wouldn't count on it. Lots of people do things for cynical, bad reasons in DC, but he genuinely just wanted to help because he saw it as totally wrong to steal that choice from voters. It showed me a side of him I hadn't seen or imagined. So yeah, Lindsey Graham was a man of complexities. Also, incredibly cool. He adopted his sister after his parents died and managed all of that as a young man. So that was it. There's another one, a very short one that said, I called Lindsey Graham a dangerously insane neocon, and the next time we saw each other, he hugged me and said, everyone's got an opinion.
No.
And I just wanted to add one personal thought of mine. This exemplifies how we should be in America, as Americans, as voters. We have elections coming, and we have to grind, even if we're doing it just to honor him. We have to grind.
I echo that sentiment and appreciate evidence brought forth that this is a man that led by example and stood by his convictions. Appreciate that very much. Next to respond on this, we have Sherry.
I don't mean it to be a pun, but I've been schooled by everyone here who has been sharing. I've been schooled. I didn't care for Lindsey Graham and his positions. I always thought he tried to play both sides of the aisle, et cetera, et cetera. And everybody sharing their stories has really schooled me. It has helped me. I want to thank you, Sophie. You're breaking my heart. Tex, you are too. And thank you, Armin, for sharing with us the reaction you've had from your own people. And so I'm very embarrassed and humble, but thank you for schooling me.
Thank you. I appreciate your candor in this matter and your kind words. Next, we have Nathani. He can't personally speak at this moment, but he wanted me to read this. Until his final breath, Senator Graham advocated for a strong America, for America as a force for good. It's become controversial, even unpopular opinion, but he was right and he will be vindicated. Appreciate your words, Nathani. With that, I don't think we have any more replies. I would just like to echo what Texas spoke about the grind, about what we face in America, about letting America become a place for good. Oh, we have another two. I'll reserve myself the last post. And Roy, please go ahead and speak about this.
Yeah, it's a hard day for all of us. It's a horrible, horrible day. Listen, guys, I wasn't a big fan of him, of Lindsey Graham, before October 7 and everything. Was pretty much of a left wing Democrat. And I still don't agree with everything he says, but there's agree on but you clearly the
Ron,
guy
we're
loved
having a
his
little bit of
country, the
trouble with
guy
your
loved his
signal.
people, the guy.
Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry.
Try to
Can you
check
hear
your
me?
signal.
You're getting
It sounded
robot.
like
Can you
loss
hear
of
me?
signal.
Yes, you. Yeah, now we can hear you. We were getting roboty a bit, but go on.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I was saying that clearly you can see that the guy loved his country. Clearly, the guy loved his constituents. He loved the people of America, and he loved the Iranian people. He loved the Israeli people. And you can disagree on some stuff, but in the end of the day, the disagreement is about how to benefit, right? How to make benefit for everybody, to benefit for all of us. And for that, he needs to be remembered. He needs to be remembered for somebody who was advocating for the people who are doing the harm, the people who are destroying, are terrorizing, and and that is a big loss to lose somebody in his. It's just, it breaks my heart, really. So I feel the Iranian people, I feel the American people right now. I'm sending love and support from Israel, guys. It really is really heartbreaking.
All right. Appreciate your thoughts from Israel. This man is getting love from all over the world, especially Iran, Israel, and Ukraine. But I think anybody who was fighting for individual rights and liberty would appreciate this man, even if it is with a long view. Casey was showing it shows how weak the RGC is, that they would try and claim responsibility. They would try to do anything in their desperate actions to take advantage of a sad situation. What I was going to say, and closing this topic, I'll pass it to Armin when I'm done. We have to understand what he fought for and stand by it. Now is time of mourning, but tomorrow, the grind commences. I'm going to start today on my show, but one of the things he fought for was the Save Act. People, Latinos, people of color, are being disenfranchised by flooding our community with illegal immigrants. This is being done in the places where we voted for Trump, and having people vote without an ID is terrible. He would stand against this. As you can see, he would be against this even if there were no Republicans on the ticket, because if you want to vote for a blue dog, you can do that. That choice should not be removed from you. He fought hard for people to have a choice, and having a choice is something that's very important. And I'm going to try to further his cause on that front. He was in Ukraine trying to support the Ukrainians. He supported the Israelis, supported the Iranians. And I think everywhere where there are people that wanted to have individual rights and freedoms, he would stand by them. And that's as far as I could go with it. I can't say any more or any better than the things he said himself. So I suggest to people, go see his words, go see from his own mouth what he believed, see the videos. They're out there. And with that, I pass it to you, Armin.
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to tell Sherry that there is no shame in being against somebody and then changing your opinion. That's actually a source of pride. I didn't know much about Charlie Kirk, and I'm ashamed to say that with very little information, I thought he was a scumbag until he died. And then I looked into him, and he's now a role model to me. So I used to think negatively about Charlie Kirk until he was assassinated, and I changed my opinion about him after I started watching his videos. And whether I'm right or wrong, that's separate from the fact that we're all here, we're all willing to change our opinions, and you're willing to change your opinion. And we can't get everything right all the time. But we can be honest with ourselves and change your perspective with new information. And I'm so proud of you, Sherry, because that's the type of person you are. You shouldn't Your expectation of yourself shouldn't be to get everything right. That is an unreasonable expectation. your expectation is should be the willingness to change your opinion with new information. That's the kind of person you are. With regards to Lindsay, I just wanted to uh, mention that he was a champion for liberty everywhere, in the U.S., in Iran, in Israel, in Ukraine, and everywhere else. And that's exactly what we need. I genuinely believe, and I think some people might disagree with me here, we need liberty more than we need correct opinions, because liberty will allow the best opinions to win eventually. Even if we get some things wrong, as long as people are free to compete with each other with their correct or wrong opinions, eventually the best ideas will win. So the way to, a lot of people worry that what if my opinions are wrong? What if I'm fighting for the wrong thing? What if I'm pushing the wrong opinions out there? And I'm skeptical always as well. And I think as long as you're a champion for liberty, even if you're pushing for the wrong ideas, well, you could be confident in that the other people who are champion doing their pushing for the right ideas will win against you, and you should be happy that they will win against you if they're right. So just fight for liberty, and that's the safest way to know that the right ideas will eventually win. And that's why I think the solution is always liberty, and he was a champion for liberty. And yeah, and the Texas troops story also showed that, because again, he wasn't fighting for people who had the same opinions as him. He was just fighting for people to be able to, express their opinions and choose their opinions, choose what they wanted. That's what we do. We fight for everybody to be able to choose, and even if it's against our choice. Okay. And then we have 4 super chats. Amir, thank you so much for the super chat, saying Ruha Shad, which is Persian for may his spirit be happy. It's Amir saying, giving us, yeah, this is what many Iranians say. So Iranians who believe in, the afterlife and souls and spirits and stuff like that, they say Ruhat Shad, which means may his soul be happy. And the Iranians who don't believe in that, they say Yadish Gerami, which means may we have happy memories of him forever. And then Amir also continues saying, we will carry his memory with honor and life goes on. Exactly. Thank you, Amir. And then we got another super chat by Eli Sheva saying, devastated, selfishly, selfishly, an ally I didn't know we had until October 7th. May his memory be a revolution. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And Amir, also thank you so much for the membership gift for the people in the chat. I appreciate that. And Carolyn with a super chat saying, well done, good and faithful servant. Rest in peace, Senator Lindsey Graham. That's beautiful, Carolyn. Thank you so much for that. And Justin with a super chat saying, always land on the side of liberty and justice for all, and you can't go wrong. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate you saying that.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.